Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is the end of the year and we're gonna get ready to go into a new year of new stuff to buy. Even though 2017 made us buy a whole bunch of crap that may have been good or terrible, but today's video we're gonna go over my personal favorite makeup and beauty products of 2017. As a disclaimer on this video, some of the things that may have worked for me and didn't work for you, I'm sorry, but on the other side, I mean, if I have items on here that didn't work for me and they worked for you, that's amazing. But I'm just gonna go through a few of like my personal favorite things. I do have a lot of favorite things that I probably wouldn't be able to survive without at this point, and then I do have a few items that I did not like at all, and you know, a couple of them may surprise you a little bit. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into some of my favorites. I'm gonna go through my favorite makeup products, and then I'll go through some of my favorite beauty products like face, you know, skincare, things like that, because I'm a huge advocate of skincare. If you're not taking care of your skin, guys, your makeup is not gonna take care of you. It's gonna look like crap if you're not taking care of your skin. So to dive right on in, we're gonna go right on into the makeup. We're gonna talk about a couple of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. This guy, you guys have already seen me use in probably 3 of my videos at this point, which is this guy right here, the Morphe 39A Dare to Create palette. This is easily my favorite palette this year. It's so versatile, and here it is if you open it up. And I have shown it a few times in all my videos, but I mean, look at the colors in here. You can use it for winter, spring, summer, whenever. I do believe that this is still available on Morphe's website. I highly recommend getting your hands on this before it goes away. This is not something that they're planning on keeping around all year round, but I reach for this palette every time I do my makeup. Every time I do my makeup, I am reaching for this guy. Next thing on eyeshadow palettes is this guy right here. It is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. I was on the fence on buying this one for a long time. I'm like completely 1000% in love with the colors in here. So here are the colors inside of this palette. I am in love with all of these colors. I'm very much like a browns and neutral, and then like a hint of sparkle. I love this palette, but it does have somewhat of a steep sticker price on it. I can definitely vouch for the fact that all these shades blend extremely well. I do not regret buying this palette. So if this is something that you're really drawn to and you're really into the colors, I highly recommend this as well. Next thing that is up as far as eyeshadows, I did use this in my last video on my New Year's Eve tutorial, and I am actually using one of them today on today's eye look, which is right here. It is the Stila Magnificent Metals eyeshadows, which is these guys right here, and I believe the 2 that I have are the Magnificent Metals, and one of them is the Shimmer and Glow one, which is this guy here. It is in the color, look, I don't know. Honestly, every time I read it, I want to say La Douche, but I know that's not what it is. But whatever. It is this green shade that I currently have on my eyes right now. It's kind of an olive shimmery color with a lot of gold sparkle. I'm in love with this. And the other 2 colors that I have here are Rose Gold Retro and Smoky Storm. My final eye product on this one, which was a really fun one for me, and I know that this palette in general caused so much drama this year, and it is this guy right here. It is the Sephora X Mosquito Bear collection. There were so many people that tried to get their hands on this, and so many people were so mad. They did not really communicate any of the releases on this guy, things like that. So here are the colors that are in it. And I've used the colors in here. I think that they're beautiful and they work really well. They're very good formula as far as the shades in here. And then the bear is just such a good collectible, even when you're done with the shades and you can't use them anymore. I mean, how cute is this? If you're a Moschino fan, this is definitely something that, you know, you could have your hands on, or you should have. I don't think, well, Sephora doesn't have it anymore at this point, but I know that they did like a really weird release of these like right before Christmas. I was surprised to see that because I thought they were done once this came out, but there was so much drama with this that they didn't make enough of them. I know that I tried to show up on one of the first days that they released to try to get my hands on this, and they didn't have it. And it actually happened to be that I was in there randomly inside of Sephora looking for a different makeup product, and I looked over and there was the Moschino Sephora little guy that was sitting there, the what is it called? The little kiosk was set up there. And every time I had gone in there, it was empty. And so I looked over and there happened to be one box sitting up there, and it was this. And I was sitting there staring at it like, is this for real? Because people have been trying to get their hands on this. And how is there just one box sitting on the shelf with all these people in the store and nobody has grabbed it yet? So I kind of walked over, grabbed it. I thought alarms were gonna go off. Somebody's gonna like spearhead me. I was gonna get like tackle jump for this thing. Nobody did, and I was able to bring it home. So I was able to get my hands on this kind. I'm really excited about it, and it's such a cute palette. Next, I'm going to go into my favorite highlighters for this year. I have two different ones. The first one is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it is their Sun Dipped Glow Kit. I also really loved their Nicole Guerrero one. That one is completely shattered now because I travel with it all the time for work, and I don't want to show it because it's so sad looking. But this guy right here is just as beautiful. I love the shades that are in here. I'm actually wearing this color today. We see a little bit of shine. It is this. I am such a huge fan of the really high pigmented highlight. I love that high shine, high pigment highlight. I don't like it subtle. And on the flip side, the queen of, non-subtle highlight is one of my favorite, highlight shades, which is the Jeffree Starrr 24 Karat Pro Palette Skin Frost Palette. And the colors in here are amazing. If you are a fan of that high pigmented crazy highlight, this one or even his Platinum Ice one, amazing. But I do highly recommend getting this palette if you are really into those high pigmented highlighters. I love this. I take this with me everywhere. I very much switch back and forth between the both of these, so it depends on how I feel that day, and sometimes I layer them on top of each other. Depends on how I feel. If I want extra glow, I'll put them both on. So there is that for my favorite highlighters. Next, as far as foundation, I did a video on this one probably about a week or so ago, and it is these guys here. It is the Ordinary foundation. I have the Serum foundation here, and then I have the Coverage foundation here. I think that these are probably some of the best foundations that I've used all year round. And before that, I was like hardcore MAC foundation person. And that's all that I ever used. I gave this stuff a try. And I mean, if I can think back to it, I think that this was probably like $6.70 or $7, somewhere between there. It's between $6 and $7. But it has such a cheap price point on it. And it's such a good product. I love this. I'm actually wearing it today. It makes my skin look absolutely amazing. I've got super dry skin, so it is not a matte formula. It is a semi-matte. With this stuff, I love it. It just looks so healthy. It has a nice healthy glow to it. I highly recommend this to anybody that does want to try it out. And I did do a video on this, so if you did want to see how both of them test out, you can go ahead and watch that as well. Another thing that I like as far as lipsticks, things like that, I was a huge fan of the Patrick Star X Matte Cosmetics collaboration, which are, I got two of the shades right here in the lip glosses. These are amazing. I'm actually wearing this one today, which is in the color Mammastar. I'm a huge fan of these. I'm really hoping that, 2018 brings back lip glosses as a favorite thing. I know matte lipsticks have been taking over everything lately, which is fine. I love me a good matte lip any day of the week, but holy shit, they just dry out my lips so bad, and I'm like running out of lip scrub and chapstick. It's crazy. So, if we could go back to, some lip gloss, guys, so I can have a little bit of moisture, that'd be great. But I completely vouch for these guys. I think they're beautiful. They're so highly pigmented. Another thing that I got was actually on my last video, and it was out of my haul video when I went to TJ Maxx and Marshall's, which is this guy right here, is the Glam Glow PoutMud. It's a lip balm. This stuff is amazing. All you need is like the tiniest amount. Open it up so you can kind of see the consistency of it there. But it is a little lip balm, and you just like literally you need the tiniest amount. Like the littlest goes the farthest way. Don't go in there and scoop it because you'll be rubbing lip balm all the way up to your eyebrows. But it lasts forever. I mean, it'll be a few hours before I ever need to reapply. And then if you're those people that like to put on lip balm like I do at night when you go to bed, if you ever woken up in the morning and then like it's like that lip balm that you put on is like kind of dried to your lips and doesn't feel that good, and then you have to like reapply in the morning and it just, your lips don't feel right. I've actually tried it with this one, and I'll wake up the next morning and my lips are still moisturized. Like I can still like with my lips and there's still like a consistency that I'm able to rub my lips together, I highly recommend it. I know that you can get it at Sephora still, but I was able to find mine at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. They both have it, so if they still have them in stock, I highly recommend getting one because they're really, really cheap there. But I do love the stuff. To move on to some of my favorite beauty products as far as like skincare, things like that, I'll go over a couple of those items. So I'm a huge fan of face masks. I am extremely dry. My skin is like the Sahara Desert. Anything and everything that you can do for my skin to give it moisture, my skin thanks you. And there are a couple items that I have found that have just really just broke the mold for me, are just like my complete holy grails. This first one I actually got as a Christmas present from one of my really good friends. And the first time I used it, I was like, what is this sorcery in a jar? I feel like I moisturize and moisturize and moisturize, and it's like that dry skin just won't like slough away. I do get facials once a month, and then my skin's like really good for that first week, and then I have to deal with all that dryness again for another 3 weeks until I go get a facial again. But it is this product right here. It is by Erno Laszlo, and it is the Lighten and Brighten. It's a vitamin C peel mask, and it's amazing. It has 2 phases to it, and I will give you a little bit of a disclaimer when you get this on Sephora. It is pricey. It is not cheap. I believe it's about $100. But I wouldn't put this in my video if I didn't think that this was like a complete game changer. I'm not a huge fan of spending a lot of money, and honestly, if my friend didn't get this for me for Christmas, I don't know if I would have spent my money on it unless I got a sample and dubbed it to be that amazing. But I'm like glad she did, because I will definitely spend money on this again when I run out. But this stuff is amazing. I mean, if you have that dry, visible, patchy skin, every time I use this, it's like I've got a brand new face again. There is not an ounce or even a fleck of dry skin on my face after I use it. I don't know what I did without this, but after I use it, I've got like the most amazing canvas for putting my makeup on. I don't have to worry about patchiness, especially right in here is where like I get the most dry. And a lot of times I get really frustrated because I put on foundation and things like that, and it's just like, oh great, now I can see like all the dry flake skin like on the side of my nose, and I hate it. But this has definitely saved my skin. On the flip side, just to kind of help with that moisture, another thing that I found within the last couple of months is this guy right here. It's made by Farmacy. It's their Honey Potion Renewing Antioxidant Hydration Mask. I love this stuff. You want to talk about hydration. Holy crap. If you are at all like oily, stay away from this, just because I think it'll make you oily. But this stuff delivers some like seriously intense like hydrating effects to your skin. I love it, and it does the same thing kind of as that vitamin C mask that I just talked about, where it does warm up when you put it on your face. I like it. I do not really recommend this if you do have sensitive skin though, just because the warming effect is a little bit intense. I know when I put it on, I was kind of like, ooh girl, this is a little warm. If you are really sensitive to like different things like that, like any type of acids or peels or heat, I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend it, just because it might burn a little bit when you use it. But my motto is, if it burns, it's working, right? As long as it's not burning your face off. But I like when things burn on my face, as bad as that sounds. That just means it's working for me. One holy grail item that I did find for people with dry skin is this guy right here. It is by Tarte. It is their Drink of H2O Hydrating Boost. I love this stuff. If you want to look on the inside of it here, this is what it looks like. So it's kind of like a gel balm type of moisturizer. I like this stuff. I know that sometimes if you use like a lotiony type of moisturizer, it can be a little bit heavy and it makes you oily later on. I have combination skin where I get dry and oily. I get really oily in here in this area, and this kind of prevents that from happening. So all you need is a little bit, and I just rub it into the middle of my face and disperse outwards. I definitely recommend this for anybody that does have that combination skin, and even if you have really dry skin, I think this stuff works really great. Another thing that I really like is by Badescu. If you don't have these, what are you doing with your life? You need to have these. They're amazing. I love this just in general. It has this really refreshing like rose smell to it. God, it's so, oh, it's so refreshing. I love this stuff. It just feels so good on your face. It's refreshing. It has aloe, herbs, rosewater, things like that. You can use it to set your makeup. You can use it to kind of like soothe your skin, things like that. If you're having any like weird flare-ups, things like that. My skin loves this stuff. And then I was able to get my hands on this guy here, which is the cucumber green tea one. I like this one just because I do work out a lot. I am really active. I just keep this guy in my bag. This guy is super refreshing. So right after a workout and you're hot and sweaty and, you know, before you get home, I'll just kind of mist this all over my face if I want to go, and I just feel instantly refreshed. So these things are amazing and they're pretty darn cheap. I think both of these are under 10 bucks. I think this guy is probably about 8, and then just this little guy right here is like 4 or 5 bucks. And you can get them on Ulta, but I swear by them. If you don't have these in your arsenal, you're messing up. You need to get them in your arsenal like today. So, and then final thing, which was actually part of my makeup stuff that I had kind of left out, is this guy right here. It is by Morphe. It is their continuous setting mist. I love this. This is my holy grail setting spray, and it has such a good price point. I know that everybody swears by the Urban Decay All Nighter, which is a good setting spray. I love it, but I can't bring myself to spend $35 on it every time that I want a new setting spray because I go through so much of it. And that's a high, you know, sticker on it. This guy, I want to say it's around 15 bucks maybe, and it's lasted me so long. And the smell, oh, it smells so good. It's like flowers. It's probably like the most refreshing like smell. And like, I'll be honest, like sometimes I'll over spray it on my face just so I can get whiffs of my face like throughout the day. It smells so good, and my makeup stays all day. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have makeup running anywhere. I love this stuff. I swear by it. All right, so that is it for my favorites. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into some of my not so much favorites that I did not like this year. I don't have very many. There's just a few. I, you know, tend to watch some other reviews on things like that before, you know, I decide to go out and buy them. I'm a huge fan of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I would have assumed that, you know, when she came out with the Subculture palette, that it would have been something that was also amazing. I saw the reviews on that and I was like, not gonna buy that. Also went to Ulta and played with it and I was like, girl, the fallout. I'm not gonna spend my money on it. So I have not bought some of the obvious no-goes. So I do have a couple of no-goes for my list of things that I do not like, and one of them or two of them may surprise you. So first up is this guy right here. It is by CoverGirl. It is the Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. Couple of reasons why I don't like it. First one, I think it makes you look extremely oily. I don't like it. Some people might like it. I don't know. But for somebody that's dry, I figured something that wasn't, you know, super matte would be like, oh, it'll give me that nice healthy glow that I've always wanted. I get oily as hell with this. I don't necessarily like it, and their shade range isn't anything to die for. I think they all have what, freaking 6-7 shades in this foundation. So it's not very inclusive, and I think this is a little bit dark anyways if you kind of look at it. It kind of worked for me in the summertime. I wouldn't wear it now, but I'm not a huge fan of this. Not so much. Next on the list is like a cult favorite. This guy right here, it is the Farsale Rose Gold Elixir, and I know that we started off the year and everybody and their mom was using this stuff and dropping it in their hands and doing what does this do for your skin? This has not done a damn thing for my skin. And if you actually look at the bottle, look how gross that is. And that's not for me like spilling it. Like every time I would come out to like my beauty area to get ready, it's like oil is just seeping out of the top of it. It is just crusty and gross and kind of has like that, it has like an oil smell to it now. It doesn't even really smell like roses, and it hasn't even been past its shelf life yet. I just don't like it. It just made me oily. It made me greasy. It didn't take care of any of my dryness. I kind of think it's just like a gimmicky product where like everybody was using it and it's like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. I didn't see the point in this. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was kind of expensive and didn't do anything but make me greasy. You probably could get the same effect with bacon grease, and it's cheaper, and you'll probably smell like bacon, which is not a bad thing. But so there's that one. Don't recommend this. If it worked for you, great. Didn't work for me. Next thing on my list is this guy, the Kylie Cosmetics Naughty Palette. I know that I gave it an okay rating in my last video, but since then I have played with it a couple more times and I hate this palette. There's probably only a few good shades out of here, which is this guy here, this guy here, and this guy here, and those ones are just really, really pigmented. The rest of them are just weird and patchy. I know I tried using this one, and when I try to like blend a matte shade into it, all the glitter flaked off and it pissed me off. And then it's this guy right here, does not blend for anything. Like it, you want to talk about, it's like subculture part 2 with that brown shade. Like this doesn't blend. And then there's like weird glitter that's in it, and you put it on and it doesn't even show up. So I don't even know what the point of having the glitter in there was. Like it didn't make any sense to me. But overall, I thought this was a stupid palette. I don't recommend buying it still. I'm probably never going to reach for this. Kind of wish I could return it. It is what it is. I mean, realistically, if you want to cue the throwback to my last video and you want to see some of the outtakes, they are right here. I hate this. I'll be real, I had to like, I started a look and I hated it because I kind of hate the colors in this palette. Yeah, this has some serious fallout in it. This is more of a matte. The glitter doesn't even show up in it, honestly. And this color is a little difficult to blend. Y'all, I don't know how impressed I am with this palette. Okay. It's getting a little patchy. Y'all, this palette's is just adding to the holiday stress to me right now. Y'all, the fucking metallic just rubbed right off. I'm just really frustrated with this palette. So basically, that was my frustrations. I don't necessarily recommend this. Like I said, if you made it work for you, cool, great. Is it worth 40 something dollars? No, it's not. I don't recommend it at all. Finally, my final hated product, and oh my god, you're gonna hear gasps around the world on this one. Please don't kill me for this one. The Fenty Beauty Foundation. I had such high hopes for this one. I really did. I had such high hopes. Just because there were so many different shades and things like that. I hated this foundation. I hated it. I hated it. And I tried it on so many different occasions to see if I would like it, and I didn't. I didn't at all. And basically it's because I have dry skin, and this is like an ultra matte formula. If you have dry skin, you probably know what I'm talking about. This brought out every imperfection in my skin imaginable. Every dry patch, every pore in my face, I looked horrible. I remember putting it on and I was like, it can't be this bad. I must have done something wrong. Tried it again after getting a facial. It still looked terrible. I do like a lot of her other products. I'm a huge fan of some of her matchsticks and her lip colors and things like that, but the foundation, it just didn't do it for me. I'm hoping that down the road she does come out with, you know, a semi-matte formula or something that's, you know, a satin formula, something like that. But this ultra matte, I can't do it. I don't like it. This does not work for my skin. It looked horrible. I remember sending it to friends and like, what the hell? And they're like, what's wrong with your skin? Why does it look so gross? Like, I just, nope, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna follow the group on this one. I didn't like it. But anyways, guys, that is it. That is all of my 2017 holy grails and fails, essentially. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that I maybe resonated with a couple of you guys on some of these things, and I'm hoping that maybe if you were on the fence of buying one of these things, maybe this helps you make a better decision. I'm sure. But I hope this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed this. Otherwise, this is it. This video will be going up on New Year's Eve, so it's a good way to wrap up the year, and I will be back next year which is, you know, 3 days from now, essentially. But I will be back with more content next week. Anyways, I hope that this was helpful for you guys, and I hope that you guys have a good and safe New Year's, and that you guys come back and watch some more of my videos in the new year. Bye, guys.